All right, what's going on, guys? It's Noah, Pioneer Sport Cards, and I'm back for I don't even know what number it is anymore. Maybe the fifth weekly talk. I am with Cannoncardboard or MQH the Legend. If you want to say hello. The bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout. That is an introduction
Sorry,
and a
man.
half.
Yeah, sorry about that, man. Yeah, we were just having our at like 9 o'clock every night here. We play the Bill Shout song, and then I'll throw my wife through a table, or she'll throw me through a table. We've been taking turns, so.
Who's up tonight?
Actually, me. Yeah, and it's weird. I've been up the past like 11 nights in a row. And I feel like there's something probably behind that, but I haven't gotten there.
All right, so if you want to just give a quick brief introduction for those who don't know you, so they can get a brief insight into your madness.
There's really not much madness other than a fucking weird obsession with the Discord that I didn't see coming. I go by MQH on the Discord, Cannoncardboard on Instagram. Yeah, man, not much else to say. Just I'd like to go on there a lot and get weird and ruffle feathers, talk shit about Dynasty, fucking fire off low balls on eBay. It's all like any given night, really.
Gotcha. And last basic question before it kind of just goes off the wall. How did you start collecting cards or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm 35, not 15, like I think a lot of people were hoping that I was. And yeah, so I started out going to card shows with my dad. My dad is actually a very avid card collector, and we'd go to card shows in the Western New York area, and it was in the 90s, right? So it was just like car companies were printing money, and the card shows were fucking insane. I mean, frankly, probably not even close to what they're like today, like this past national, but at the time they were really, really big. And so I kind of just got that like collector's mentality mindset from my old man, and really dropped out of it for a while. I think like a lot of people did. The 90s cards, most of them became worthless, and I just kind of got older, moved on to other stuff. And it was really over just the past few years that I got back into it.
Gotcha.
And actually, Josh Allen being drafted by the Buffalo Bills was a big reason for kind of that like newfound interest in the hobby. And it's still shocking to me how different it is, and just how intense it is, and the amount of money that is just like casually being thrown around on any given day.
Oh, 100%. And before I go any further, I wanted to say this, 'cause I did in the beginning. Currently, I am filming this from my car. So if there are some audio, if I have some audio cutouts, that is the issue.
I'm driving, so it's safe.
Okay, so perfect. So we're both, just so people listening know it's not on their end, it is on our end.
Yeah, you're in the passenger seat. It's fine in case there's cops listening or any narcs. I'm the one driving.
I'm not driving either. I'm just sitting in the parking lot, just filming. So yeah, I'm the weird one filming a YouTube video in my parking lot.
Yeah, I'm like really, really hoping that a cop taps on the window and you have to explain to him what you're doing. There's no fucking way he's gonna believe you.
Yeah, I don't think so, but we'll see how it goes. And so I think I'll start this off by saying, how about Verstappen this weekend?
Oh, man. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous, man. I am like generally a fairly like calm person, but there's something about race day, game day, when I have a vested interest, like I just turn into like a ball of stress and nerves.
Yeah.
And I think this is a big one, man. I mean, it's obviously it's the home crowd, it's the coming out party, it's trying to claw back some points, and it's it's a lot of pressure, man. I mean, not for me, for him, but a little bit for me, because I've taken out like 3 mortgages on our house to buy these cards. So if it falls through, we are in so much trouble. So there might be a follow-up call where like we can set up a GoFundMe or something like that. Like we can talk about that later. But yeah, man, I mean, like I'm feeling good about it. I'm like, I'm nervous, but I feel pretty good. I was actually talking to Buffs about this. I'll probably get like 11 or 12 beers in me before it starts, and then hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm a similar thing. I don't necessarily have somebody for race day, but I'm a big college football fan. So,
Mm-hmm.
and my family grew up in Iowa, so I'm a big Iowa State fan. So I know that that game day feeling where you're just on edge because you have a big game that you need to win, or just like it's just the worst. Like just that anticipation, especially if
Yeah.
it's a night game, just all day.
Yeah,
Brutal.
yeah. Oh, yeah, man, definitely. I mean, it's for me. Bills games are. I mean, my poor wife. Like, She's from the Connecticut area, so she kind
Okay.
of grew up with like. It's weird out here. It's like you've got your Pats fans, and you've got because of our proximity to New York, you've got a lot of Jets and Giants fans too,
Yeah.
right? So it's like a little bit of a. It's not totally just a Pats fan base, but she frankly couldn't care less about the Bills, which I get.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's like it's been years. I mean, we've been together for years. It's years of just me being like a complete mess on Sunday. Sometimes like on Saturday, even leading into the game the next day, like it would get that bad. And then this past year was interesting because the Bills are good,
Yeah.
and we've waited literally decades for this. And
Yes.
instead of like nervous, like anger energy, like because typically it's like, all right, we're playing the Pats, we're going to get beat by 35.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose my mind. But in this time around, it was just like very emotional, man. Like when we won, when we beat the Colts, first playoff win in decades. I fucking cried, man. I just started crying. It was like
Yeah.
this like weird, like I don't know. It was just like this like overwhelming feeling of like relief. I remember looking over at my wife, being like, maybe we can like share this moment. She's like, I remember the look she gave me. She's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
like cool. Like, all right, you just beat the Colts, and so like, what else is going on? But yeah, it's an emotional roller coaster, man. But I will say, like, Bills fans or fans of just any sort of team that have been kind of like lovable losers or have been kind of entrenched of like years of mediocrity and loss.
You just
It's
the Bills just remind me of the
spirits,
Cubs.
man. Yeah, exactly, man. There's so many parallels there. Other than the fact that we haven't won shit, but I think it's just man, like you become so committed to it, and you're like it's like degenerate gambling basically. You're like, all right, I'm in too deep at this point. I should just keep going. Like eventually, the only way out of this is through. And if and when the Bills go to a Super Bowl, and man, like if we win a Super Bowl, I'm like afraid for what's going to happen to like the city of Buffalo. It's going to be chaos.
Oh, you can tell me about it. I'm from Sacramento. I know how that degenerate bad team goes with the Kings.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, man.
Thankfully, I grew up a Warriors fan in my life. So like, I haven't had to deal with it. I think I'm gonna slowly start transitioning into rooting for the Kings more, just as I get older.
Yeah.
Like just to kind of because like it makes more sense for me to root for them. Anyways, but like especially because they have like guys I like Fox and Halliburton. They have guys I really like. But man, is it hard going from a team that's actually good to rooting for a team that's bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's just hard to describe. I think anyone that's listening to this, will listen to this that is like a current fan of a team that just like cannot get it together. It's so frustrating, but it's also like, depending on where you're from and depending on like how committed or ingrained you are, you don't have a choice. Like where I grew up, like literally when you walk out the door or you finish a phone call, like when I finish a phone call with my dad or my brother to this day, we say go Bills. Like it's what instead of saying like I love you or instead of saying see it's like go Bills and like you hang up the phone. You know what I mean? Like if I see a guy wearing a Bills hat in because I'll commute into New York for work. If I see a guy in whatever Midtown wearing a Bills hat, every single time without fail I'll say go Bills. It's just like if there's a thing, you know what I mean? And it's like you're like this weird community of like lovable-ish losers. But now that we're good, finally, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how that changes things because now that they're in the spotlight again, right? And like the media has kind of latched onto them, because for a while no one would even talk about us, like win or lose, and it was kind of like forgettable. But now, things have changed. So it'll be interesting to see what happens this year. I think a lot of haters are going to come out of the woodwork.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And so go into a different path. I have to ask: are you the
Yeah, sorry.
one?
I thought this was just going to be about the Bills. I'm sorry. Are we talking about other stuff, or
Yeah.
because I'll hang out right now?
So I have to ask if you were the madman who bought the Topps Chrome Gold 70 at the PSA 10 that just sold a few days ago on eBay.
No, no, no.
Okay,
That was not me.
because it sold for $4,500, and I was gonna say, are you really that insane?
No, 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 not me. I'm a big low baller. You know what I mean? I go as low as possible, and then if you don't take my low ball, I will troll you into oblivion, and basically just force you to sell me the car.
So
Over
basically,
time.
so
Um,
hold on, let me.
so
So
like most people on eBay.
so yeah, basically you're the guy who offers me exactly my 50%. Like they find the lowest number
Yeah,
I possibly am
he
accepting.
finds the lowest the threshold, and then just patiently waits. And then
Yeah.
I'll send it with like a screenshot of like 38 comps from like 4 months ago. And just basically be like, "What's up, man? Like, you want this offer or not?" Um, all kidding aside, I don't do that. But I'm actually not horribly active on eBay lately. And I would say, I would say the reason why is, and I hate to kind of, I mean, I guess people listening to this are already on the Discord, but like the Discord is really the spot, man. Like I've dealt with some awesome people on there, and I would 1,000 times rather sell or trade a card to somebody that I've gotten to know through there. Even if it's like under comp or whatever, I would much rather go that route and
Yeah.
send it to someone who I fuck with and who is a part of the community. And so I've actually been spending like very little time firing off my little balls on eBay.
I think, yeah, for me, like I like the Discord is one of my favorite spots because like the main thing I hate about eBay is the seller's fee, like all that stuff. Where like if the guys I
Mm-hmm.
work with, I know they're trustworthy. I can go friends and family with them. I can get tracking that same day
Yeah.
or the next day, and it's just so much easier
Yeah.
for me to worry about going to my printer, printing it out, worrying about if they're going to return
Yeah.
on me. The 13%,
Yeah.
like that's all the things.
Yeah. Yeah. Or honestly, man, like you're lucky if you even get to that stage because a lot of people like just don't pay. Like
Yeah.
I've had 2 auctions, and like I would say the 2 auctions combined were probably around like the $5,000 mark.
Yeah.
And neither of these people paid. it's like okay, so now I've got to. I mean, it's just like I don't know. I mean, I just couldn't imagine like wasting someone's time like that. But I think just people just don't give a shit. But yeah, I mean, I think also going back to the Discord, it's nice to know, without like sounding too corny, it's nice to know that like a lot of these cards are like finding good homes. Like if
Yeah.
I'm trading it to someone that is, if I'm trading or selling whatever pure gas lead to somebody that really really wants it, that's a good feeling, right? Because I know that person's like collecting and
Yeah.
they're excited to get it in the mail. They're not just thinking, all right, I just got this for $20 under comp off this idiot. I'm going to take it to some local card show and try to sell. It's just like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't excite me.
Yeah.
So, again, it's just kind of like, I don't want to sound, like negative about, I guess, like the eBay experience, but it is like, it's a bit of a shit show. I mean, it's just kind of, especially with F1 has become big, right?
Yeah.
And, not big. I mean, if you compare it to these other major sports,
No.
it's still so small, but like the amount of people that have come flooding in over the past like month, like we're not even talking months, it's like over the past like 4 or 5 weeks, it has changed things for sure. I mean, there's a like tangible like effect, like you can feel it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about it. I think it's cool. It's great to have new people here. I'm sure some of them have really good intentions, but I think that there's a lot of people that are just like they don't give a fuck about the cards, the drivers. They just see comps and they just want to try and get stuff off you so that they can make $200 in a day, and that sucks because I think what I liked about F1 is it wasn't like other sports, or didn't feel like other sports for that reason.
Yeah. And I think the thing it actually goes full circle because there are some times on the Discord where I'll find something that I'm not even looking at, but I'm like, wow, like that price they want is so low that it's like I have to buy it even though I'm
Yeah,
not even looking for this card.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then
I sold. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry to cut you off.
no, you're good. I was gonna say there are definitely times where I buy something and I just like then like I buy it because I see it's a good price and I'm like I'll never find this card again. I get it in
Mhm.
hand. I'm like, this is cool. 3 weeks later, I'm
Yeah,
like, wow, look at this card that just came up. I could buy.
yeah, dude.
So
It's
now,
like,
so now I feel like a dick because I'm reselling their card for more. But
yeah,
when it's not really my intention to do that, it's just like something else came up and
no,
I'm like, I need this instead.
yeah, yeah, no, totally, man. And look, I've done that too. I'm not like trying to act as though I'm like holier than thou because I'm not. I'm a complete idiot. But
Yeah,
it's more about, I think that there's times where you can tell that someone's asking you for something, they want to buy something, and you can tell that like they have absolutely no interest in the driver himself or what this card maybe means to me or them. It's more just like I hate. I mean, it's like an asset to them. It's just something to just buy and get in the mail, and then immediately either send a PSA for a 7th grade and then
yeah,
crack it and send it to BGS and then crack it and then sell it raw on eBay 4 months later. It's just like, so it just kind of does leave like a weird taste in your mouth. But I had a recent experience like, yeah, where I had a Max card. It was a gold 70th. Nice card for sure, but just like the 70th cards aren't totally my cup of tea. And so
yeah,
I just threw it up on Discord for like well under what it's worth and sold it in like 10 minutes to a really great member on the board. And like, it felt good, man. It's like, I'm
yeah,
like, okay, this is going to someone that's excited. I gave someone a deal. I got a little bit of money in my account. Like, everyone's winning here.
yeah,
And I'll take that shit all day over throwing it on eBay and getting a bunch of weird messages and having it sell for maybe $200 more. And then to your point, getting hit with the fees, waiting for the money to clear, sending it to someone, then messaging me asking why there's a mark on the back. You know what I mean? It's just like it's just
yeah.
not worth it. So
No, that's so. I will say I think I can say that I am not finally holy. Yesterday was the first time I ever asked the Discord for something that I could resell, so I feel dirty about it now. But
oh, come on, man. No, and look, that's not. I'm not trying to take the
no, no, no.
conversation
I
in
know.
this direction
I'm
because
giving you a
like
hard time. I
I
know.
get it. Yeah. Well, so what was it? Can you tell me what it was?
Oh, I was asking for Albon.
Oh,
I was speculating. I was speculating the
man,
Williams.
speculating on all about. There's like some like there's some silly shit happening right now, which is so I love watching. Just like people, and they'll know who I'm talking. People, if they're listening to this, they'll know who I'm talking about. But like people collecting like F2 rainbows, and like it's just become like
Oh yeah,
it's just become like such a drug, and people are like, all right, the good shit isn't left anymore. But I need to like spend my money somehow, right? Like I can't just like let it sit in my bank account. So I got to buy something. And it's just so funny to like see all these like random, people asking for like stuff that a month ago like would not even be considered.
like
It would be
anything.
something just sitting in someone's bin somewhere. You wouldn't even bother putting it on eBay.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's been interesting, man.
that's literally me right now trying to find these 70th. Like finding like Perez and Giovinazzi like 70th. Like
Yeah,
you would think like they're not big cards by any means. Like you could
yeah,
should be able to find them cheap, but like God
yeah,
forbid you find them on eBay and they ask you for 5 times what they're actually going for. And then
yeah.
they tell
You
you, then they like send you the message like, "Oh, you should have bought this earlier when it was cheaper. You're not buying
dude,
mine." Like,
the worst, the worst.
yeah,
Do you still need a max? Do you have a max yet?
I do not have the max. I need a
Okay.
max.
Look, all right. So I'll tell you what. I've got another one on the way. I found one a little while ago for a good price. So I scooped it up. We'll talk about this later. But if
Yeah.
you need the max, I will sell it to you for exactly what I paid, which is well under what it's worth right now.
Oh, I really appreciate it. I'll let you know because
And
that's one of the ones I need.
yeah, man, for sure. Because I remember like you and I were talking about this a while ago. I think you sent me like your running list of kind of what you needed, and I remember that you hadn't had like Max and a couple of others, and Yeah, man. Anyways, so we'll
Yeah,
talk about it later, but
yeah,
definitely, like, when you're ready, I'll hold it for you if you want, and then we can talk about it. And I would also love to trade. Trading has been my thing recently for sure.
yeah,
I find it to be so much more satisfying and like doesn't feel as like transactional.
yeah.
And especially when both parties win, right? Like
100%.
I actually I just put I've been like I just posted a few cards on my Instagram today that were part of a trade deal, and it was great, man. Like I was looking for the Max Orange Auto, I was looking for the Max Chrome Auto, and like a couple others, and
Yeah.
found somebody that had them, and that person was like, "Look, here's what I'm looking for. I didn't have what they wanted, so I went out and found it.
Hmm.
Found that card, hit them back up, and was like, "Hey, man, I got what you're looking for. Like, you want to make it?" Because this person was not looking to sell
Yeah.
and only wanted to trade. And so I found the card, and after like a week of back and forth, like the deal's done, and he's super happy. I'm super happy, and like it's an awesome feeling. You know what I mean? It's like the thrill of the hunt. You're like going back and forth, and like you're not nickel and diming each other. You know, over
No.
like $100. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, like this card's going to bring you a lot more joy, and it's part of your PC, and like it's not for me personally.
Yeah.
So let me get that card to you. I mean, I'm not going to like take a bath on it, but then also, you know, you get me what I'm looking for, and then like how could we not both feel like that was a win, right? And I think that like that's that's like a really fun part of the hobby for sure, is trading.
Yeah, I've always had like a soft spot for trading, like, and like trading's always been really good to me, like just like what people are like recently, like I'll give an example, like I traded for a Lewis Hamilton World on Wheels gold out of 50, and I traded for that at the National, and I gave up a Patrick Mahomes PSA 9 Donruss, like valued at like, and it was like he was either gonna buy. He was either gonna buy because I was trying to move the Mahomes. I'm in the National. I need some cash to play with.
Yeah.
So it was either I sell it for $300 or I make this trade straight up for the four whatever price.
Yep.
So I was like done. Like I'm gonna take the Lewis Hamilton gold any day.
Yeah, for sure, man. Because it's going to bring you more joy, right, than sitting on a Mahomes card that you don't fucking care about. You know what
exactly.
I mean? It's like,
and the thing is like I just sent it off to get graded, and I just got the grade back, and I got
what was it?
I got a 9 on a gold.
Nice.
So like that's
nice, like man. Yeah,
super sick. And like right now, my thought process with that card is like I love that card, but if I find the right guy to get a bunch of cash for me to get that out of 70 Hamilton, like that's what that cash would go for. Like that's what that 100% like what my mindset is with that card. Like I love that card, but I need that 70th Hamilton. It'll go straight to that.
Yep. Yeah. No doubt. Anyone listening to this that has a 70th Hamilton, fucking hook it up. You're hearing this? Hook it up. I think let's get you what you need. I'm good for the Max. Someone that has the Hamilton, hook a guy up. But yeah, it's that's kind of how it works for me, man. Like I feel like I'm talking way too much, but I'll
dude, no, you're fine. Like, this is how everybody is.
And like the F1 and what happened is, you know, I got in early. I mean, not as early as like, you know, people like Justin that were buying boxes for like $38 a piece, but like I got in pretty early, and my first ever box was crazy. Like I hit a Hamilton base, which at the time, Hamilton base, I mean, those are trading for like $400.
Oh yeah,
right. This was not like you hit a Hamilton base, like your box is more than paid for, and
yes.
You know, it was like a big hit. My like second to last pack, I hit a Gold Wave Max Auto. Oh. I'm like, okay, like this is pretty awesome. Like this feels kind of easy. And my point is, it kind of all snowballed from there, where it was like, okay, like I'm gonna move this Hamilton for something else I want, and maybe I'll throw in a couple $100, and now I've got this bigger card. I'm gonna take this bigger card, and I'm gonna give it to someone who wants it more than me for something that they have that I want. And if you look at the cards that I have on my Instagram right now, man, I'm not out of pocket much on all of those. Like, no joke. Like, it's more of like trading up, you know, establishing relationships with people, long-term, you know, back and forth, you know, checking in. And then when that person's finally ready to deal, then you make it, you know, it's like, it's a long play, right? I'm not just like on eBay, like smashing bins and just, you know, fucking, you know, draining my bank account, trying to buy everything I see. It's like much more deliberate than that.
Yeah.
Because frankly, I can't afford to do it the other way. Like if you can, like if you got all the money in the world, you want to just buy everything, like by all means. But this is the way that it's worked most for me, where I don't feel like, I think Buffs made a really good point in your call last week. Was like, man, like if this all just kind of goes to hell, like it's not going to like ruin my life, and I feel really good about that. Like I can't imagine the stress that I would be feeling if Max, shit the bed or became irrelevant and I'm sitting on all these cards, or if F1 as a hobby just fell apart, that I'd be like, wow, like how am I going to pay like my $60,000 in credit card debt or something, know? So that's definitely a good feeling.
Oh no, it is a very like good feeling just to collect what you like, and like that's why like I'm going for those blacks. Like I just adore them. So collect what I like, and then if I get stuck with them, oh well.
Yeah, exactly. Like do what you like, man. Like but I think that's like for almost everything in life, right? Like wear what you like, collect what you like, eat what you like. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to do the things that make you happy, or the things that, especially for something that's a hobby, right? It's that's what it is. It's a hobby. And like, yes, you can make money in it. There's some people that make a shitload of money in it. And if that's what you want to do with it, and that's kind of, how you want to approach it, then by all means. But for me, it's an escape, from family responsibilities, work responsibilities. It's something that just makes me happy. And if it ever stopped feeling that way, like I'm out, because I don't need a second job. You know what I mean? Like I don't need, another thing to kind of stress about. So
I'll make one point, and then we'll get to a fun topic that I think you will enjoy. I honestly forgot where I was about to go with this, to be quite honest. So I guess when I think of it all, it was I'll think of it later. I was
no problem.
I was too busy on thinking about so for the Discord, you're notorious for being the one to stir the pot and just be the one out of pocket, just going for it. And I know you said there are some people that you wanted to maybe some like breakers.
Oh no.
So you have your floor that you were so wanting.
No, I'm talking shit, man. I can't go scorched earth, but what I will say is that there are a lot of lurkers on there, and
100%.
extremely opportunistic, and frankly, it's fucking annoying. You know what I mean? It's like, you'll post something like, "Hey, here's a card I picked up." I'll get like 5 messages from people that I've never spoken to. I've never seen their username, with just like one simple word: price. It's like, motherfucker, like this isn't. I didn't even say that this is necessarily for sale. And second, it's like, I don't know who you are. Like this. I think that the problem is that, maybe people are coming in from other sports where like that's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Where that's just kind of, it's extremely transactional. It's extremely kind of, hey, I've got this card. Okay, what do you want for it? I want 1,200. Okay, I'll give you 9. Great, bye. I think that, what I want to preserve within F1 is that sense of community, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like getting to know each other, then hooking each other up. And like, I've established so many really great relationships on there. So I won't name names, but maybe they'll listen to this. They'll know who they are. But it's just kind of like, it's a weird experience. You know what I mean? I think that people have a really, it's interesting. Like, I think people can have a hard time, like, just being told no.
Yeah.
And myself included, I've gone through that. Like, when I was searching for this Max Auto, it was just like pissing me off. It's like things kept falling through. I'm like, look, I'll pay way more than it's worth. Someone's like, hey, I've got one. Then it fell through. Like, so I'm guilty of it. I'm not, saying that I'm not a part of it, but it's just like I've had so many situations where someone's like, hey, what do you want for this? I'm like, oh, it's not for sale. And I'm like, yeah, but like, what do you want for it? Like, well, it's not for sale. It's like, if you want about trade or like, whatever. And either that will just end the conversation, or it will just be like, well, current comps are $2,300, so I will offer you $2,250. It's just like, okay, like I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just kind of like the tricky part of like this just becoming more popular and more people coming in. And it's like, man, like I don't mean to discourage anyone. Like I'm sure there's some awesome people that are joining and have a real like vested interest in that,
Yeah.
in this. But I don't have a lot of like patience or, for people that are just hoping to come in, scoop up some cards because they heard that like that's what people are buying now, and then just sell them on eBay.
Yeah.
It's just like really, really not exciting to me.
I guess I'll be more of the one to go, not scorch earth, but there's I know you're talking about.
Start it out. Why don't you get me going first? Maybe that's
and
what I need.
there's just like, I will not say names because I'm not that guy, but there are definitely like granted I don't there's people I don't talk to, so I can't necessarily say 100%. But there are just guys who just rub me the wrong way in the Discord. I'll say it like that. Just the way they post stuff, the way they say stuff, just rubs me the wrong way.
Well, I hope I'm not one of them, man. I mean, like,
well, no, I said I don't talk to this person, so if I talk to you, it's not you.
There's a few. I think it's just like, yeah, man. I mean, I think it's just like anything, right? It's like it's so hard. You had no idea what I was going to sound like, what I was actually going to be like. I think that people portray themselves probably differently. Someone like me who's like feeding my son and like changing a diaper and then like frantically trying to talk shit on Discord, like misspelling everything. You know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, man, I think that's, there is just like there can be a weird vibe for sure at times. I think that there can be, like a saltiness that can be felt at times,
I think
someone posts something, a card that they picked up or a thought about something, and just, you can tell that, some people they just get very kind of, upset about it. And I think also, I don't know, man, I'm with you.
No, there's I think the thing for me is there's just an art to being just showing something off in a good way and bragging about what you have.
Yeah.
Or like.
Wait, are you talking about the person that like screenshot like a bunch of eBay sales?
I am not. I do not know what you're actually talking about for that. So I need to figure out what that is about.
Yeah, and then like, okay, so I don't even remember what this person's name was. Like, they could very well still be on the Discord, and they could very well be really great. But there was this weird moment where someone came on at like, I don't know, man. It was like Eastern time, like 11 or 12 o'clock at night.
Okay.
It was like, hey guys, like I'm new, I'm into F1. Here's some stuff I've picked up, and it was literally just screenshots of ended eBay sales.
Yeah.
Like things that this person had picked up, but it was like all Dynasty, all super high end. It was like just like, but it wasn't even like pictures that they themselves maybe took, and I'm sure they own the cards. I'm not even doubting. I'm just saying it was just like a very like, what do you want us to do with this information? Like, cool, like you have a ton of money.
Yeah.
You went on eBay, and over the course of like 3 weeks, you spent like $65,000 on Dynasty cards. Like, I don't know. Like, I guess congrats. Like, I don't know what to say. And then, like, I don't think this person has ever been back and has never really contributed anything to the board. And I think that that's what's kind of, like, gets me again is, like, the contribution aspect, right? Like, I think, I don't I'm over the top. There's a lot of people that are over the top. They spend way too much fucking time on it. But, like, frankly, like, many of us are kind of the ones that like keep this thing afloat in many ways. Because there's always like a constant dialogue and banter and like shit talking, and it's just kind of like it's tough for me again to like have someone who I've never seen post, I've never seen give a thought or an opinion or anything, and then slide into the messages and be like, how much you want for this, that, and this. It's like, okay, this isn't what this is for. You know what I mean? And like in my mind, right?
Yeah, I think
I feel oddly territorial about it because it's really fun and there's some really, really awesome people on the Discord. And I myself have learned so much from so many people, not only about F1 but about the hobby. And I want to like keep it. I want to make sure that it stays fun, right? And it isn't just like a place for people to come and like buy and sell and like stalk each other and watch people kind of, people much more educated about the sport than I am kind of go on about who they think, could have a seat next year or in 2 years, or who they think is up and coming. And then like those people just go on eBay, they scoop up those cards, and they're like, all right, great. Like the Discord's a good resource for me to just like get information from. But I mean, maybe I'm overthinking it.
And I think I have 2 points. The first one is on the Discord, like people may not think it, but like I can tell who the flippers are and who the collectors are. Like it's not people trying to be
How can you tell? Tell me.
It's I can't say that much because it would go into the certain people, so I can't say that. But it's just
Dude,
like
say it.
No, I can't say it because I don't want to. I don't need beef with anybody. Like I've never met him, so like they could be a great guy in person.
I know.
So like, but like it's just like you can just tell when like there's listings like. I mean, this might get you because you're on the Discord and people are on the Discord a lot. But there's just people who come in, they don't talk a whole lot. They'll come in for the stretch of 20 minutes, throw up like 30 grand worth of cards and they'll want to sell. And then just won't talk for about 2 weeks and they do it all over again.
Yeah, the same cards, but prices have gone up.
Yes. So, and it's like,
oh, hey, sorry, that card that was 11 grand, it's actually 14 now. I won't respond to your messages.
This. Yeah, they'll have new cards everywhere. They'll have some new cards, and of course they're PSA graded cards. Like they couldn't be raw, because that's how they work. So like, that's one of the ones that really gets me, is the guys who just come in every once in a while, just throw a bunch of stuff up for sale, and then don't interact.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it's the same thing. Like going back to my point, it's like it's transactional to them, and it's a resource for them to just sell shit without having to pay fees, without having to, you know what I mean? It's like many people on the Discord have built the community. I mean, it's such a dumb community full of idiots, but it's a community, right?
Yeah.
And like, I think it is tricky, to have people come in and just be like, here's a bunch of stuff I have for sale that's super, super expensive. There's probably only 4 people on this Discord that would be able to buy it in the first place. It's just like a really weird vibe. You know what I mean? And it's like, to me, I picture the Discord of like, if you see me selling something on Discord, or looking to trade something on Discord, I am super flexible, and if we get along and like know each other and like, spend time getting to know each other, I'm like completely down for cutting deals and like, making it easy, and like, because that's kind of like, to me, a big point of it, right?
Yeah.
It's like helping each other out and getting each other what they need and what their PC is, and kind of, again, like what makes them happy. If I want to make more money, I'll just sell it on eBay, but fuck eBay. So
yeah. Okay, I'm trying to think of the second point I had. Okay, I know one point based on my first point is you maybe will understand this, but I don't. Is it a coincidence that these people that I see started popping up in the Discord the second Sasha got his card? I don't know about that.
Yes,
you can think about that. That's just an open-ended question right there.
100%, it's not a coincidence. Like, I think, and I struggle with that, right, man? And I've talked to a lot of people about this. I think there's pros and cons, right?
Oh, I'm the same way.
I may talk shit about it like I am right now, but the fact of the matter is, cards that I bought for, you look at the prices of some of the cards that I own now, if you looked at what I paid for them, you would laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at the time, when I bought these cards, it was a lot of money. Or when I traded for these cards, or when I did, it was not nothing, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard for me, I sound hypocritical because I'm also like talking out of both sides of my mouth. I'm like, well, fuck the people that are coming in just trying to take advantage of, flipping and pumping and whatever. But at the same time, like, cards that I bought for $2 or $3 grand are now worth 10. So it's like, who am I, to kind of hate on that, I guess. But I also think that, like, I would really, really, really like to think, and maybe I'm just naive, that some of the people coming into this, maybe they're coming in initially, with a lens of, I'm going to come in, buy some cards, break some boxes, sell some stuff, make some money. And maybe they'll actually get into it.
Oh, for
maybe they'll
sure.
actually get into the sport. Maybe they'll actually start, meeting other people. And so I would like to believe that maybe just like a small fraction of these people actually want to stick around and want to contribute to the hobby and keeping it going, man. Like, it's in its infancy right now, and there's more product coming out. I really hope that there's people that are coming in that like plan on sticking around. And I'm not just saying that out of like self-preservation of like, because I want my cards to be worth money. It's like, it's been really fun for me, right? And I would hate to see it kind of just like go to hell.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember my second point I was going to say. You said everybody on the Discord are idiots, and I will say there is once, and you'll know exactly what I'm saying. There are kind of cliques in the subreddit that are formed. And I can tell you the smart people and the ones are the ones who frequent the vintage section. Everybody else...
The vintage is an exotic world.
Everybody else, I would say, are idiots. But the people who live in the vintage, I would say, are actually kind of smart in the Discord.
Yeah.
So I will say that those people are smart.
Yeah, vintage is like I said, it's an exotic world. One I'm not familiar with. Because I wasn't born in 1948.
Like some of those guys are.
It's been pretty... No, it's really interesting, man. It's actually... I lurk in there. I have nothing to add in there, but I lurk in there because it is fascinating, man. Like, there's, like, guys in there like, yeah, I got this sticker from Portugal. It's a 1981. I found it. Some guy in a cigar shop had it. What the hell is going on here? And then, like... And there's some fascinating people in there. What's that guy's name? Mean Gene, who's like...
Oh, yeah.
He's just like a wealth of information and knowledge. He's like...
Dude, I don't know where this guy's knowledge doesn't end.
There's no way he's ever listening to this conversation, by the way, because like the hour that he would waste hearing this, he'd probably be losing out on some like, I don't know, private jet that he's buying or something. Yes. But it's just like, it's such an interesting dynamic of people that I know nothing about that world, but I have nothing but appreciation for it.
I think I need to find a way to get Mean Gene on, because the guy knows literally everything there is to know about everything. He knows crypto like the back of his hand. He knows everything, cards, comics.
Yeah.
He knows basically any asset like the back of his hand. I'm like, how do you like have all this knowledge of this stuff when I can barely focus on like 3 sports of cards?
Yeah. It's like, dude, he's... there's many times where I'm like, he'll post something that's like this like dissertation on like 1980s comics or something. Yeah. And it's like amazingly well written and punctuated, and like it's a really good read. And I think to myself, that's really interesting. And I also think to myself, why the fuck is this guy even like talking to us? Like, why is he even talking to us right now? Like, there's like, I'm like, you're wasting it on me, man. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, and you seem like so interesting, and I feel like I don't know. It's like, it's just like, man, I don't know. It's just so interesting to see like the dynamic in there, right? There's people like him who are just have this like wealth of knowledge and experience that like, you're like, what do you do? Like, what is your life? Like, where are you right now?
Going off of that point, there's another type of point. I think you know what I'm talking about. I can't think of who it is. I really wish I knew the name. But there's somebody who every once in a while will do this like vintage spotlight on like the most random thing possible. Of like, it'll be like a spotlight on Senna, like a random Senna win. Or like a random vintage card that he found at the...
DBK?
It could be DBK.
Yeah. I think he's Portuguese, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, and he'll come on randomly.
If he's listening to this and he's not, I'm sorry to offend you. I feel like he is, but...
No, I love it, because like we'll be deep in a conversation of something stupid, and here he comes talking about his 1980s Senna he just picked up, and all the backstory behind the picture.
And it's like this like unbelievable story where he's like, I climbed this mountain, and there was this guy on the top of the mountain, and we were like descending, and we started talking about F1, and it turns out he has this like vintage 80s sticker collection. So I went back to his house, we drank wine, looked at stickers, and anyways, I found this card I've been looking for 34 years. Yeah. And like he'll post it, and it's like, so wow, like you did it, man. Like this is like such an exciting story. And then like the follow-up post is like, want to sell Max Variation Sapphire $650.
I was gonna
it's completely lost.
I was gonna say the exact same thing, how like it'll be so well written, and the one above it will be like, ha, Max Verstappen bad, go Lewis. And then the next one underneath it will be like, want to buy F1 tops turbo attacks, and it's like just
yeah.
gets lost every time. But I find it funny
Yeah.
every time it gets lost.
Want to buy Sapphire boxes, $1,400. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's so funny, the dynamic, man. You're totally right. There's like some incredible people on there that are just like a wealth of knowledge of, like I was saying, like not only the sport but just the hobby. Like I have so much appreciation for someone that can be so into Senna. That's like, not only am I gonna like look for his cards, but like I'm collecting like stickers with a calendar on the back that were like sold at a gas station in the 80s.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
it's such an obscure thing to be into, and I have like tons and tons of appreciation and respect for that, because that is like down the rabbit hole, man. Like you're not finding that shit on eBay. Like
No.
you're not just like, you know what I mean? That's like literally like, again, like making connections, traveling, like it just like happenstance, like serendipitous moments where someone has something that you need, and you've been looking for it for like 9 years. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so different than just being like, I want like Hamilton gold sapphire, I don't know, whatever, I got 40 grand, like, does anybody want to sell me one? Like,
Yeah.
It's shit seems easy in comparison to some of the work these people put in to find the vintage stuff.
I actually have one more guy that I want to give a shout out for being smarter than everybody else. I'm gonna give it to Vettel One for just having like
great.
for there's one like I remember there's like a month ago I was just in the Discord just talking out my ass like 2006 Futera doesn't exist, it's a scam, it's a con, it's never been made.
Yeah.
And then 30 minutes later, like he doesn't say anything. He just posts a complete set of it with the Lewis auto and all this like almost like the best like Formula One car that probably ever exists is the 2006 Futera auto, and he has like 2 of them, and he just like drops it and doesn't say anything, and he just goes, "No, it exists." Yeah.
Like, fuck you, go back to bed. Yeah, and didn't one of them have like a thumbprint of Lewis's in the ink?
Yeah.
Like what? Like that's like, again, like that's such a he's great, man. Like he's one of those people that I've definitely learned a lot from.
Yes.
And we're lucky to have people like that, truly, because as like ridiculous as some of us are, and like the shit posting, like there are some people that have a ton to offer, and I appreciate them like taking the time to educate and like actually talk about it, because I'm definitely listening. I pay attention for sure, and I find that stuff really, really interesting.
Yeah, like I have absolutely nothing to offer compared to these guys. Probably same with you. We both have literally nothing to offer to the Discord whatsoever, except throwing up 1-2 buys, 1-2 sells, and shit talking Jupsta for his breaks.
Yeah,
that's literally all I really do on there.
Man. Poor Jupe. Jupe's having a tough day, man. When he listens to this, he's gonna know. I don't know when this is gonna go live, but yeah, he's having a hard day. I think it's tough, man. Like it's like, all kidding aside, I think it's easy to get burnout on this because
for sure.
Because it started out. So going back to it, man. Like I think what's interesting about F1, right, in terms of a hobby, a card hobby, is that it's so new, right? I mean, like, yes, there's been products before. I get it. But this is the big kind of coming out party for F1.
Yes.
And it started out really, really low key, right? And it was like, is this even going to last? Like, what's going on here? And like the people that were into it, like there weren't many, right?
No.
And so you all kind of got to know each other. And I think that we all got a little bit comfortable with just kind of like the community and just, the trust. And I think now that it's kind of getting flooded with new people, and some of them are great, sure, but I think a lot of people just have like no vested interest in keeping this going. They're just looking to make money. It can be like super exhausting, you know what I mean? And I think he's feeling that, so I feel for him. I think Jupe knows a lot about the sport. He's been following the sport for a long time. He's passionate about it, and honestly, man, this fucking guy takes a lot of time out of his day to do breaks, and that's a lot of work. I think people don't understand, like, to do a break and to do it well, and to and to keep people engaged, and then to send all this stuff out, like, it's a full-time. I mean, Buff can attest to it, man. It's a full-time job.
Yes.
So I feel for the guy. I mean, he pulls awful cards. And I think I always thought it was a flex. The fact that he's not only is he resealing his own packs, but he's then also breaking them on his live breaks is a huge flex in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I think, I feel for, I think that like hearing Juke kind of be like, fuck this is a problem, because I think a lot of people had felt, I've had three, I'm not exaggerating, I've had three people in the last like maybe 2 weeks casually kind of say to me like, this is just not fun anymore. And that really sucks. You know what I mean? Because it was so fun for so long, and I'm still having fun with it. We all have moments where it's just like, fuck, this is so annoying. But it's definitely a new trend where like people are kind of feeling the burnout of it. And I think it's also tough because, again, like, it's a new sport for the hobby. I think people who are like in basketball and baseball and football, like maybe it's been like that for a long time, and so just is like par for the course, right?
Yeah.
And like you just kind of comes with the territory of like being into that hobby. But I think for a lot of people who are like really only got into cards through F1, you're like, wait, what's happening here? Like you with like the low balls and the like nickel and diming and the whatever. It's like, if you're not used to that because you haven't been in other parts of the hobby, it can be extremely exhausting.
And that's why I think I still like love the Discord, because like it's like just coming from like it's nice being able to interact with like, actually I should say like I love Jupes. I give him shit all the time, but I really love what he does. So I want to say that first.
He's a good guy.
But yeah, like I like the Discord for the fact that like there are guys that I've done 4 or 5 deals with, and it's like I just love that I can be able to like even just like not even make a deal. I can just talk to him about stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Or I can go to him like there's guys where I go to and I'll say like, hey, what do you think about this? Like me buying this. What do you think about me making this trade? And they'll give me an honest feedback instead of just kind of like sucking up to be like, oh, it's awesome. When like So like, I really like that aspect, and like it feels like even and I think you can attest to this. Like, there are more members joining the Discord every day, but at the same time, it feels like it's the same people still talking.
Yeah, because it is.
Since it
literally is. Yeah.
I think I don't know. I joined maybe around 150 to 200, maybe. I don't know the exact number, but like I feel like since I've joined, maybe 1 or 2 people have come in that like were after me that like contribute a decent amount. The rest of them it's the same people that have been there the whole time.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And I think that that's not coincidence. I think, if you were, and I'm not an original member, but I think if you were into that in the early days, it was because you were passionate about it. Because, like, frankly, like, the cards were worth some money, but it wasn't like it is today. No. So, like, if you were, like, taking the time and energy to, like, get on Discord and, like, engage with people and share thoughts and talk about, on race day, go back and forth. Like, it's because you cared about it, right?
Yeah.
And I think that it's not coincidence that those people are still here because they're going to continue caring about it, right? And I think that there's going to be tourists that come and go, and that's just, the nature of it. But I do believe that there's a really strong core of people that want to keep this going. And so it's been, but yeah, man, there's some people, like my boy Chatty, who, I've done a couple deals with, like, we like talk all the time, you know what I mean? Like we've got to know each other really well, and he's not the only one. There's quite a few, I talk to Buffs a lot, like, there's a few guys who, you get to know, in a real way. And like, and it's kind of cool because like, not only does it make you comfortable when you're making deals, when you're asking for feedback and stuff like that, but like, you're also helping each other out. You know what I mean? You're finding things for each other. You're like, hey man, like, I know a guy's selling this, or I saw someone selling this for a good price, so I scooped it up because I know you want it.
Yeah.
Let's find a way to get it to you, right? Like, you're not going to get that shit on, eBay or,
for sure.
Wherever. And I think that, like, that is what has been, like, really satisfying for me, is kind of just, like, it's just getting to know people as well.
Yeah, like, Chad he was one of the guys that, like, I've talked to a lot, and, like, I have to give him just a huge shout out because he's the one I got my Lando from, and it was he gave me
Lando? No.
What's up?
Which Lando?
It was my black Lando out of 70.
Oh, nice.
So he's the one who got it to me, and he came to me. He's like, look, he's like, I know, like, I know you're wanting this. Whenever you have the money, here's the price. This is the price I paid for it. Give me like
Hmm.
15, 20 bucks, a little bit more to cover the shipping, and it's yours. And it's
Dude.
like, I'm not gonna say what that price was, but like that, like it's something that like he bought. He's like, look, I'm not trying to make money off of this. Like I bought it a while ago. It's obviously probably gone up double
Hmm.
since then. But like
Hmm.
I want to be able to like know like it's going to a good place, and it's like those are the
Yeah.
guys that, like I really like appreciate because it's like I would do the same for them if like. Granted, like I don't have a lot of the cards people are looking for per se because I collect weird stuff. Like that's exactly what I would do. Like cut people
Yeah.
deals because I know they can appreciate that stuff.
No, for sure, man. It's very. I mean, I think it's just good karma, man. And I, while we're like, on the subject of Chad, like I bought like some gas leaves from him. I don't know, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I went on vacation, the infamous vacation where I was getting harassed by all of you jokesters, wondering why I was on Discord when I was on vacation.
Yeah.
When it was the max orange hunt of 2021.
Yes.
And I bought gas leaves from him before I left. I come home, there's a package from him waiting for me. I'm like, all right, cool. Cards arrived. I open it up, and I hope I'm not blowing up the spot. Fucking guy threw in a max gold track tag for me.
Yeah.
Threw it in. He's like, I had two. I want you to have this. Like, you're a big max guy. I know you don't have this one. I'd inquired a couple times, being like, hey, man, if you want to deal it, like, let's work something out. Like, I don't want to get corny, but, like, it's hard to find that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, now I'm like, okay, like, how can I reciprocate this, or how can I, like, pass this along to someone? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's like you have to keep that going. And I know, again, like, I know it sounds kind of like cheesy, but it's like, if we're not doing things like that and just kind of trying to help each other out, then like it's all going to turn into just like shit. It's just all going to be just like, here's stuff for sale. How much money do you have? Do you want to buy it? Hey, sorry, like you offered me 1,100, but some guy I don't know offered me 1,175, so I'm going to take his deal. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's like you have to preserve that. And I was like, what? Like, he doesn't, like, we chat and we like kind of got to know each other, but like, who does that? You know what I mean?
There's a very good chance that's mine because I gave him one of mine, so if he had two there, that could be my max.
It probably is, man. But that's, yeah, it's a very it goes to another point of mine where I'm pretty sure
We all trade the same
there's
cards.
a member. Yes, yeah. There's a member who I like talk to you about this every once in a while, Mexi, who's like, I go back and forth. Where I'm like, dude, did you just get that from so and so? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, fuck. Like, are we actually just like sending all of these cards in just like one 20-person circle where
Yeah.
it's just like, and each person is paying like slightly more than the person before them? I'm like a little worried about that, to be honest with you.
I that's what I've noticed because I noticed there will be cards where I've like, or that was like the bigger one, but I know there's definitely been like times where it's happened or like that I had the moment with Chad where for that max I got a Lewis base, and then that Lewis base ended up going to Evan Longoria of the Giants. So now he has the story of how MLB player owns his Lewis Hamilton card, like just stupid stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
where it's just
Yeah.
you have no idea where it's going to go
though,
to.
man. Yeah. No, I think that's great. Yeah, it's like, yeah, man. There's been some really good deals that have been done, but yeah, I think like for me, some of the more like satisfying experiences have been someone hitting me up. Like, I will say, man, like when I was on the hunt for the Orange Max, I had like three or four people hit me up immediately, being like, "Hey, I know someone that has one." Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's like people don't necessarily need to do that, you know. And
No.
I think it's just cool that we have people who are like just helping each other out, and they're like, trying to help each other get what they need, without profiting from it. It's just kind of helping each other out. So
Yeah, I have
people that will be listening to this, like, they know who they are. But I had a few people who hit me up. They were like, "Hey, man, here's a guy. Like, I saw him hit one the other day, or like, I know this guy's been holding one for a while. Like, I don't know what he wants, but here's his contact info." Like, that's great. Like, I wasn't expecting that. So it's cool to see people helping each other out.
Yeah, and I have to give another shout out. I had to give one to Buff, who I just talked to last week. Where
Buffy.
yeah, I had to give him a shout out because he knows I'm doing the black set and how I'm going for the drivers, but eventually I want the whole set, and he knew that. And then I got a package. I got a package in the mail from him. Like, didn't have any. I didn't buy anything from him, and it was just like it was like 6 to 8 of the blacks. He's like, hope this finds a good place, like free of charge. Like he paid shipping. Like I didn't even pay for that.
Yeah.
And it's just like those
Yeah,
acts,
man.
and it's like those acts are just like the type of things like that are so make it so like nice to be in the
Worth
Discord
it.
community because
Yeah.
like I guess on my broader point like all the like people on YouTube like the only person on YouTube who really gets it's Hannah, who I actually talked to her for the first time today, which is fun. But like,
Mhm.
she's like the only YouTuber who really gets the F1 market, the community,
Mhm.
and that aspect. So like it's like so that's why it's so nice that like she gets it and she can like talk about it because like how we all are like we want each other to have like a fun time instead of like because I feel like football like I'm gonna this might be a hot topic. Basketball is the worst market. I
Is it?
hate the people
I'm
who
so
I
unfamiliar
hate the
with it.
people who deal in basketball only. So I guess people can clip that, but they're the worst. I hate them because they don't care about anything except how much money they can make through basketball.
Yeah.
And honestly, like if when they lose their money on basketball, serves them right. I will be so happy they lost all their money because
Yeah.
they're just the worst. Oh, I'm gonna buy Trey Young. I'm gonna buy Luca. Like, dude, like
Mhm.
it's just annoying, especially those YouTubers who do like they just hype up the same 4 or 5 players over and over again in a
Well,
cycle.
it's self preservation, right? I think a lot of people who have these followings that are pumping up player X, it's because they themselves are holding a bunch of it. Like it's
Yeah.
not, I think you have to be skeptical of anything that you're seeing or I mean, even on Discord, man, or like, whatever, people start posting, you can tell when people are just pumping, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so like, nice paragraph on so and so. Like, how much of this guy are you holding right now? Because it's clear, like, you have, there's like a motive here. Yeah, I'm not super familiar with basketball, though, to be honest with you. Other than like I said, trying to buy it with my dad in the '90s. But
Yeah.
I talk with I go back and forth with Hen every once in a while. She's super nice. And unfortunately, I'm not selling her anything that she wants from me. It's not personal, but maybe one day her and I will work something out. But yeah, But I will say, what was really cool actually, once she had heard through chat that I was looking for an Orange Max.
Yeah.
And reached out to me, and she's like, hey, like, we don't know each other, but like, I've got this Orange Max. Like, here's what I'm looking for. Whatever. And at the time, I was just didn't have the cash for it. I was looking for something else, and so it never worked out. But like, the point is, again, like, it was just kind of like, if I hadn't known Chad, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like, it all kind of worked. Like, I had built a relationship with Chad. He happened to know her. He knew that I wanted an Orange Max. He brought, us together. And, while the deal didn't happen, like, those sorts of experiences, like, you're not going to get elsewhere. So I think that, like, that was really good. But, yeah, but going back to Buff, I got to give Buff a ton of credit because he's so...
He's
into F1.
He's a grinder on the brakes.
He's a fucking grinder, man, and he takes it so seriously, and he has such a respect for it, and not just F1, but just what he does.
Yeah.
And I have tons and tons of respect for him. Like, him and I talk, probably every day. We just like go back and forth on shit. We're thinking about things, and like, him and I both collect Macs, right? So we're always kind of like
trying to flex who can get the better Mac.
It's not competitive. It's not competitive at all. Like, we're always like, yo, man, like, I've already got this one, but like, someone's selling it. If you need it, it's very much like, we try to help each other out. But like, yeah, he's a really great member of the community because not only is he super passionate about F1 and, is like a fairly notable breaker, but he just knows a lot about the hobby. Yeah. Right. And it was so interesting to hear the conversation that the two of you had last week. And like, you can tell that like the dude just loves it and he knows shitload about it. But what I like about him is there's no pretentiousness. There's no ego. There's no, there's no misleading. He's like, he'll tell, he's an open book.
He doesn't try to like make himself like you'll know the breakers I'm talking about who make it about themselves instead of the cards and the people who are buying.
No, not at all. Yeah. And I think that that's why he's gotten such a strong following. And I think that he's going to be I think he's going to continue to just get bigger and bigger because I think that it's like the saying, like, real recognizes real. And I think that he is very much one of those people where it's like, if you like F1 and you want to break F1 with someone, he is, I mean, I don't know who, I'm probably offending some people, but I think he's the best. And, you know, not only because he's knowledgeable, but he's like super easygoing and he's very like patient and, you know, he's like, he's passionate about it. So like, if you got $1,300 to spend on a box or whatever the fuck Sapphire costs, I would suggest throwing it to him. Just because I think that, you know, you're going to get a good experience with him because he's gonna know what he's talking about and he's gonna get excited about things that you should also be getting excited about instead of just like hitting a huge card, not knowing what he's looking at, you know, and kind of just like carrying on, just taking money. You know, like it's a lot of money for people. So if you're gonna spend it, I'd say spend it with someone who, you know, cares about it maybe more than you even do.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him some credit. I'm gonna throw him a tiny bit of flack just for fun. Just because I know you can kind of, if you talk enough crap to him about something, he'll learn about it. So I'm going to get on him for his Star Wars knowledge being abysmal so he can do better on his Star Wars breaks because I watched one of them and it might have been the worst I've seen from him not knowing anything about Star Wars. So I'm going to tell him to pick that up.
Shit.
But no.
You hear that, Buff? Get your shit together.
But no, like I knew like he was the real deal when I went on. It was a late night. Like I think there was maybe 20 people on, and like I was talking to him about F1, and then this guy comes in and he's buying up the hockey, and he's talking away about hockey, and I know nothing about hockey except like I know the teams, I know like maybe the top 10, 15 players in the league, but I don't know anything else. And he's talking away with this guy about all this hockey stuff that's going on. I'm like, dude, I don't know a single name you're talking about. All I know is Lafreniere from this last class, like, and Kirilov, and that's when I knew he was really about it. When like, I know he said he likes hockey and it's one of his things, but like, for most people, like hockey is not something you're gonna really know about.
It's fairly obscure. It's like not. It's just not big here. Most, you know, there's just like only a couple real superstars. You know, it's not an easy sport to follow. It's gonna be
so if he knows, then that's why I was like, if he knows it like the back of his hand, hockey, like I know sure as hell that he's gonna know every other sport like the back of his hand, because like if he focuses that much on that, he'll be fine. I guess unless it's Star Wars, but he'll get there.
That's not a sport. So
it's not a sport.
You know, give him a little bit of credit.
But I can't give him because he knows the Pokemon, so I have to give him some. I have to get him a little bit because he knows all the Pokemon, but he doesn't know the Star Wars, so.
Yeah. Well, I don't know his age, but he's probably a '90s kid like I am. But yeah, I think so. That's probably why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's just some breakers where you can tell like who's treating it like profession, right? Like you know, most of us, you know, I know you're in school, like, you know, most of us have full-time jobs, and you know, it's
or full-time responsibilities, like, you could say.
Yeah, and you take it seriously, right? It's what you do, right? And it's a big part of your identity. And there's some people that you can feel that, you know, where you can tell, okay, like this person isn't breaking. You know, he or she is online, is doing research, is on Discords or, you know, whatever, Reddit pages, learning about the sport, doing, you know, and like doing the homework, and it comes through 100%, man. Like, you know, watching that stream last night of people buying like $1,400 boxes of Sapphire, and one after another, and just like, you know, the dude breaking it had like no idea what was going on, and
I know exactly. I know who you're talking. I know who you're talking about. So it's fun.
Had no idea what was going on. It's like, look, man, like spend your money however you want. Like if you got fucking $40,000 to spend on some cards on a, you know, Wednesday night or whatever, then like do you. But it's just to me, it's like if I'm going to spend my money, I'm going to spend it with someone who is going to be hopefully as excited about it as I am, right? And who like can maybe even educate me on it too. And I think that, like, you know, there's not a lot of breakers out there that can do that, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As fluently across sports, right? Like you've got some who are like, all right, this person knows a ton about basketball, but like, man, he's one of the few where it's like, I'll watch his Loop stream or something, and he's just like fucking selling baseball, knows everything about it, and someone's buying like F1, knows everything about it. Someone wants to buy some like 2016 football, he knows the entire rookie class. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is crazy. Like I'm like, I watch a ton of football. I know a lot about football, and I'm like, why? I'm just like, how does he internalize all of this information? Like,
Yes.
it's pretty interesting, So I respect people who like they really go all in, and they treat it like a job.
Yeah. I have a personal thing that like I barely do any breaks to begin with, so I usually watch them. But if a breaker can't say a name correctly, if they yell all the time,
You know who you are.
I guess that might be a call out because everybody knows who that is who yells all the time.
The yelling is like outrageous. There's so many people that do it. They're just
so
like,
if they
bang, bang, bang. It's like, holy shit. Like, will you please chill out? Like,
so yeah, if they yell all the time, I don't watch. If they say names wrong, don't watch. Like I'll give them there's maybe one or two names I'll give them some credit for. But like if I hear somebody say like if they say like Lewis Hamilton, like it's an instant turn off. Like I'm going away. Like it's like when they do stuff like that or like
yeah.
I guess I don't know if it's just me, but I have the pet peeve of when people can't say Guan Yu Zhou right.
Yeah.
So when I hear like Jiao, like there's like all this weird stuff, it's just like it breaks me down inside because it's like if you like I know how to pronounce it and other people just can't do it. It just gets on me, and it's just like I can't do it. And the yelling, like if they
it's like it's your job, right? Like if I went to my job and didn't know how to do a key part of my job, people would be like, "What's going on?" You know what I mean? Like I think, I think it's become. It feels like, again, outsider's perspective, like I don't know exactly what the life of a breaker is like, but it's like, if this is what you do full time and you can't like even go as far as to like learn the like basics of what you're doing, and then you're gladly taking a ton of money from people, like I don't know, man. Like it's like shame on the buyers too. It's like there's other places to spend your money. Like, if you're fine just like having someone like fumble around with like the $2,000 you just spent over, for like 12 packs of cards, then like by all means, but like there's no fucking way I'm going to like do that to myself and to like anybody who might be listening too, because it's just like it's crazy to me. It's like this is your job.
Yeah, if I want a low budget, I'll go to
seriously.
Like if I want low budget, I'll go to Jupe because I know I'll get low budget. But
exactly, yeah. If you want a lo-fi experience, you go to the Jupester. Like if you want like some very questionable parallels pulled, cards that you've never even seen, you're like, I've never even seen this card in the set before.
Like you might see card number like 204 that doesn't even exist coming from his packs.
Yeah, you're like, wait a minute, what's going on? Like that is who you go to, right?
Yes.
If you want someone who's just like, if you want the absolute worst return for your money.
But at the same time, you love it. You love
laughs, that. But you want to have some laughs, you go to the Jupester.
Yes.
But it's unfortunately there's not, there's just only a few who I think are really kind of. I think that it's been long enough. It's been around long enough that it's kind of hard to like make excuses at this point with F1. It's like, okay, It's been around for months now. Like, if you're breaking this shit and you still don't know people outside of Lewis, Max, Lando, George Russell, like who I heard Russell may have a Mercedes seat pretty soon. I don't know if you've gotten. I've got an insider on the circuit. So to all you investors out there, I just want to say George Russell is a buy right now. I see a lot of upside. He, apparently
He
will
might
have
have that
seat
spot.
in the next 6 to 46 months. He will have a seat at Mercedes.
I think I could. I'm trying to see if I have a hot take that I could take a step further. Oh, I have one for you. Here's a very hot take for you.
Love it.
Okay, I think let's see if you can follow this. Rumor has it that Kimi may retire at the end of this year. So you got to think about that, and who can maybe take that seat? Wow, maybe we've been talking about George. Maybe Bottas takes that seat. Now that could be maybe Bottas is a buy because he's going to a new team. So you just got to think about that.
That's a lot of speculation right there.
Yeah.
So I don't want to mislead anyone. But I will say, I saw both of them at Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville over this past weekend.
No way.
They're both sharing gigantic margaritas and a blooming onion. And I may or may not have overheard some rumblings of retirement. So,
Interesting.
Again, I myself had about 8-9 gigantic margaritas at that point. So I could have heard wrong.
Yeah, of course.
I would say, yeah, I think he's probably done. But again, I don't want to spread rumors.
Yeah, I think since we're going for the craziest takes, I'll actually maybe should I just throw out the craziest take of all time and see what happens?
Throw it out, man. Live your life.
This one comes from absolutely no sources. So when I say this, know this is only my speculation, and I haven't done any research on this. But I'm gonna say this now. Give it. Let me think of a date. Give it 2 years. Ready? Ricciardo leaves McLaren. Patrick O'Ward from IndyCar gets his spot. You heard it here first.
Wow. I love your Indy passion, by the way.
And here's I'll talk on it real quick. The funny thing is that my NASCAR passion is infinitely higher than my IndyCar. But I know nobody on the Discord.
Dude, I love that about you. You champion NASCAR. You're the only fucking guy that does. And
but yes,
you hold it down, and I really respect that.
So on the Discord, and I know the Discord, I'll be race weekend NASCAR, and everybody's like, dude, who the fuck cares? Nobody cares about NASCAR here.
Yeah,
we're the European and American purists who only like open wheel racing. So I'm like, wow. So I'm like, okay, fine. Now I have to talk my IndyCar just to please the open wheel purists in this Discord. When I realistically don't know that much about IndyCar, but I sound like savants compared to these people. So it's fun with that.
Yeah, no, you hold it down, man. I respect that. There's a lot of us dying on many hills in the Discord. I, with my distaste for dynasty cards, you in NASCAR, just Juke trying to just get people to do more breaks. We all have our kind of crosses to bear.
Yeah.
But I think that's what makes it spicy,
And that's the thing. If I were ever to open up my channel to NASCAR stuff, I know that stuff the back of my hand, F1. I tried doing one
interesting.
I tried doing one NASCAR video, got 3 views, and the other ones were getting 50, 60 views, and I was like,
and it was you, your mom.
Yeah, and it's I love it, but I realistically this is a passion for me. I don't obviously make anything with 40 subscribers. I don't make anything, so it's I want to make things that people want to watch because it's my passion. I love NASCAR, but I know nobody will watch it, so I'm just not gonna post it. But I can just. But I'll keep making the plays myself, and I'll keep doing well with what I'm buying in NASCAR.
Yeah.
Even though I know realistically nobody on the Discord. I remember there was one time I posted a NASCAR pickup on the Discord that somebody actually appreciated, and I was like, dude, this is my 50th NASCAR post on here. Finally somebody appreciates it, and it felt like
your new best friend.
And I was like, wow, that's incredible that somebody actually likes it, And I've posted since there, don't get anything, and I was like, you know what? I'll just keep trolling people and keep posting it in the non F1 pickups because I'll make it my own NASCAR portion because that or IndyCar. I don't buy a ton of IndyCar stuff because you can't find it to buy, but
Yeah.
I'll just keep doing that stuff just to get the people up in arms about, oh, NASCAR's so dumb they go circles left.
Who's your all time favorite NASCAR driver?
I growing up I was a big Tony Stewart guy. He was my
Nice.
guy growing up. So
Yeah.
and
It
then
was such an interesting sport that like there's so many like wild personalities, right? Like you look at some of these guys like fucking Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt Sr. and like these guys were like rebels. You know what I mean? They were like not like your average like superstars. They were like kind of they were definitely like against the grain.
I will say that like it's funny because like they have Drive to Survive, so like everybody thinks that these F1 guys have a ton of personality, but like in NASCAR, like those personalities are just on 10. If you find like one guy with a personality, like they just take it to Jupiter with like how like ridiculous they are. Like I think like people like know the name Dale Earnhardt Sr. but know nothing about him. He might have been the craziest person who ever like raced a car.
He was
like
fucking insane.
Like it would be the last. It'd be the last lap.
So aggressive.
Like last lap, like he's putting you straight in the wall, wrecking you on purpose. Like there's no doubt about it. Everybody knows he wrecked you, and he'll be in victory lane sober, and he's like, "Oh well, I bumped him, but it's just how it goes." And it's just like, nobody could dream like.
No, you're
like
totally
imagine
right, dude. Like you listen to like Hamilton and Verstappen, like
at Silverstone, yes,
the aggressiveness of Max, and like Hamilton missed his apex, and like it's like man, like these guys were like actually trying to like
wreck each other,
throw you off the track.
Yes,
and like you look over and like Dale Earnhardt and his like gigantic caterpillar like bushy mustache and like chromed aviators are just like staring at you from the driver's seat, and you just know he's about to just like throw you into the stands going like 250 miles an hour.
That's why his nickname was the Intimidator, because he was when you saw him in his rearview mirror, you were scared shitless, like he was gonna wreck you.
Dude, the Intimidator is like such a sick, and then like the blacked out Goodwrench car,
yes,
like, just like it was like Darth Vader in car form. You see what I'm doing here for you?
Yeah.
I'm like setting you up for some Star Wars. But it's like, it's just like so, I mean, these guys, like, they weren't fucking wearing helmets. Like, it's just like craziness. Like smoking cigarettes while driving. And it's just like a totally insane thing when you think about it. And especially to your point, like when you try to parallel it to like the things people complain about in F1, it's like, man, like, I frankly don't know what NASCAR is like today.
Yeah.
But in that era, it was filthy. It was like just.
It was the number one growing sport in America in the 2000s, like the early 2000s. Like that's just how it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really big where I grew up. So I grew up in a like pretty like, pretty small-ish kind of farm town. Like everyone, like NASCAR was like have daily drivers with like a 24 or a 3 on the side.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they would spray paint as if they were Dale Earnhardt going to work.
Yeah.
Like that was like a lifestyle, right? It's a very American sport.
Yeah, I have 2 more things before I talk about Star Wars, and after Star Wars, I will call it eventually, because I got some stuff to do later, but I have time now.
Can I hang up before you do the Star Wars thing, and you can just do your thing?
I honestly don't need to talk about the Star Wars.
You don't need me for that. I'm just kidding, dude.
No, so but the 2 things in NASCAR, I'll say the craziest thing that's happened in NASCAR, just for people who are actually somewhat curious. And then so that in like the 1950s and 60s, somebody raced with a live monkey in the car. So this guy had an actual monkey, like a live monkey, racing around the track in his shitty like car that like with the terrible engines that they always blew up every 5 seconds. But he had a live monkey that would sit on his shoulder, would like crawl around on the bottom of his car and actually race.
You can't make this stuff up, man. Like that's intimidating.
Like,
you know what I mean?
Like no other sport could like ever come close to something that stupid.
No. Like you're going super, super fast in a car that is just built to explode.
Yeah.
And you look out the passenger side window, and there's someone coming up next to you, and it's a guy, and he's going pretty fast too. And then you see something out of the corner of your eye, and there's a fucking monkey
in the car.
car with him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how do you digest that moment? You know, do you just? I feel like you just let that person win. Like, you can't possibly try to go toe to toe with somebody
with a monkey
that has a monkey in their car.
Yeah.
And like, again, like probably a cigarette hanging out of his mouth. The monkey might be smoking a cigarette too. They could both be smoking.
There's a good chance.
There's a good chance. And yeah, man, it's like that's like daytime NASCAR television. That's just like what people did.
Yeah, and then my last NASCAR point I make is so I don't know where this is gonna go, but this is kind of like I'll talk about like this is my favorite ever NASCAR moment. And for people who don't know because they don't care about it, like if you know one thing about NASCAR, I would look this up. And like a lot of Americans probably might know this, but like my all-time favorite NASCAR moment, I was barely alive for this moment. I was like a few months, so like I've had to go back and learn. But my favorite all-time moment of NASCAR is when Dale Earnhardt passes away in 2001 in the Daytona 500. And then 6 months later, they go back, and Dale Earnhardt Jr., his son, wins that race at Daytona. And like what that means to him and his family for him to go back to the track where his dad died.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes it so special is Alan Bestwick's on the call. He gives a great call for the finish. And the little thing is in second place, everybody knows Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the race. In second place is his teammate Michael Waltrip. And Waltrip's come out and said that like he like had a car just as good, like because back in the day these two cars dominated every like speedway track like that.
Right.
And he said, like, at this moment, like, there's no way he was going to pass him. Like, he was pushing him to the win because he knew what that moment meant to them.
Yeah.
And then, like, at the end, there's the picture of Dylan Hart celebrating on his car in the infield, like, for, like, hundreds of thousands of fans. And then the thing is, Michael Waltrip pulls up and celebrates with him, even though he gets second place. Yeah. And it's, like, that's something that today could, like, I don't think you could ever see that in any other sport. Like, something like that moment and how significant that is. Like, I can't even think of something like in a sport that's somewhat similar to that. Like, just to win at the track that your dad died at 6 months earlier, then you go and win, and just like what that means to your family is just. That's the one moment I would look up if you don't know anything about NASCAR, because like I can get you not like in the on track, but they have some of like the best just pure sports like moments, like stuff like that.
Yeah, and storylines, and I think it just kind of, it's just like, I guess it's just that like brotherhood of it too, right? It's
yeah.
Like, you want to obviously win, but when he died, that was like a huge moment, right?
Yes.
Like in the not only NASCAR, but just in the sporting world, like he was the one of the best.
Yes.
He was a superstar. It's the equivalent of, you look at other sports of like, if you were just like watching football and, Aaron Rodgers,
just
got
died
hit and died or something, got tackled or like was paralyzed. Like it would be, it's like a significant moment. Yeah, man, it's an interesting sport. I would always watch it casually just because like family would have it on and stuff. I don't know much about it today, frankly, but like, I think it gets, I think that both there's stereotypes about NASCAR and F1. There's stereotypes about both, right?
I would say it gets a bad rap as being the southern cars.
Like,
there's no strategy. They just go circles and they just have flat out and there's nothing to it. And it's like like I hear it all the time and like I like eventually like I've just gotten to the point where I don't even bother anymore. Like I've heard it 1,000 times, but it's like if you actually go and sit down, you can see how much like strategy, the aero sensitivity of these cars. And how much this stuff actually matters compared to they're going left. It's so fun.
Right. Yeah. No. But I think people will say, I think people can say the same about F1, right? Or most any sport, really.
Yeah.
If you're not like educated about it, you don't understand the nuances of it. Then it's very easy to make these like broad strokes, like assumptions about why it's stupid or why it's not hard. But it's fucking crazy. It's an intense sport. Just like F1 is. But there's just not anybody as cute as Max in NASCAR, so I just do F1.
There are, I think after this I can show you some good-looking guys in NASCAR, so you can...
oh, yeah?
There are some...
man. I just I'll wait for my wife to go to bed.
And let me tell you...
Notes.
since you're American, they're the sexy American, not the sexy European look. Two different looks. So if you can stomach the sexy American vibe, with there's one guy I'm thinking about right now. I'll send you a picture of Ryan Blaney.
So sorry. What? So sorry. Let's take a step back. What is a sexy American vibe? Like what's
I,
that?
I was gonna go into I was gonna go into detail here for this. He
Go into detail. Okay.
yeah. So
I'm here for it. Yeah.
so his name's Ryan Blaney. Any NASCAR fan will know who this is. He actually just won last weekend. Funny fact.
So nobody listening to this.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody listening to this knows who this guy is whatsoever. So he has the long mullet.
Oh yeah, he does have a mullet. I just looked him up. Look at that mullet.
The mullet,
Good
the mustache,
God.
the glasses.
Tremendous.
Like, it's just like, you can't find that in F1. Like, nobody will have that.
No, you're right, man. There does actually need to be more mullets in F1.
Like imagine if you brought that hair and that look to F1. Like, could you imagine?
Yeah, F1 needs like dirt bags, and I'm not joking. It needs a couple dirt bags. Like it's getting a little bit too hunky, and it needs it needs people like this guy Ryan Blaney. It needs we need big aviators, mullets,
the mustache,
a constant 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah,
that's what you need.
Yeah, you need that. You need instead of all like the clean cut Europeans, like with the nice long hair, the brown eyes, who all the girls like. You need a few of these guys.
Just getting tan. Like Ryan Blaney's not in Monaco, man. Like this fucking guy is at like some dive bar right now. Like probably just like put a cigarette out like on his tongue.
Yeah.
He's like maybe getting into a fight. He's who you want to be friends with, He's who we all want to be, really.
And that's why I like that's I think you see where I'm saying the vibes are different from F1 to NASCAR.
Yeah, I can see the vibe for sure.
Like you're getting like the more like rough around the edges, but like funny. Like
is he any good? Is he good?
Yes, he is good. He won last week. He's won I think 2 or 3 races this year. So I'm not gonna
who's like the man in NASCAR right now.
Okay, so this is a whole can of worms that I'll condense as best as I can. NASCAR's points format. I try not to curse, but it might be the worst points format I've ever seen in racing, in general. I'll tell you how this works, and you can tell me how stupid this sounds because you don't know it. So the way it works is there's a 36 race season. And they have a think about this. They have a playoffs for racing. They have a playoffs they have.
Okay. I like that.
And the way you get into the playoffs is in the first 26 races, you have to win 1 race or you have to point your way in by getting the most points. And to make this as ridiculous as it sounds, this year there were I think there were 13 or 14 different winners out of the 16 eligible drivers. So only 2 people were able to get themselves in based off of points. So like there was like 1 or 2 fluky wins this year that they just made the playoffs and they suck. Like they have no shot. So that's how it works, and the rest of the people are just out of luck. And then after they narrow it down to 16, there's 10 races left. And what they do is every like 3 to 2 races, they condense it down. So after the first 3 races, the people with the most points, the people with the most points out of the 12, they advance to the next round. Like it's stupid. They go to like rounds, and then so they advance more and more.
Dude, I'm fucking lost. I don't even know what's going. How long is this season? Like
it's 30.
10, like how many years is one season of NASCAR?
Dude, a season of NASCAR is from like February to November. It's long. So do they have breaks like they do in F1, or is it just like these guys just like? Oh no, they have
racing for months on end.
Oh, they have breaks. They have like breaks for weeks or 2 at a time. So they have their breaks. But
this is when Blaney goes and gets his like mullet permed.
Yeah,
he works on his beard.
All right, and then so going into the last race, there are 4 people that are eligible to win the championship. Only 4 people have any shot to win the championship. And the thing that makes it so ridiculous is somebody theoretically, somebody could win 20 races throughout the season and get to the last race, and somebody who wins no races all year can make it to the last race, win the last race, and win the entire championship over the guy who won 20 races in the season.
Is that has that happened recently, or is that just kind of like
it hasn't happened? It hasn't happened, but we have gotten very close to it happening. There is a driver, Ryan Newman.
I kind of would love to see that.
There's a driver, Ryan Newman. He didn't win a single race all year, but he was one of the last 4, and he was always the guy that would finish like 10th to 8th. Mm-hmm. So like I think he finished second in the championship, didn't have a single win, and like
wait. I just looked up Ryan Newman. This guy is a professional athlete?
Yes. That's how NASCAR drivers are fat.
My uncle.
Yes. So like so
like, this is definitely like, this guy looks like someone that would like, you would find outside of like a liquor store when you're 19, and he would definitely go in and buy you like a 12-pack.
Oh, for sure.
And like hide it behind a dumpster for you. This is a professional athlete. Wow.
And then
I could be a NASCAR driver.
Oh, you could.
I am this guy. I am Ryan Newman. I could be this guy. Fuck.
Okay,
Should I start driving? How do I get into NASCAR? Is there like an academy I need to do?
I do not know that. I think you just have. That's something you'd have to look into. I don't know that. But
all right. We'll offline this, but let's talk about this later. Maybe we can get me into NASCAR somehow.
Yeah, and then I have one last thing just to show you how stupid NASCAR is. I love it, but there's something. So every race, their format, you would expect them to just run their however many laps. They're 400 laps and they're done. The way a NASCAR race works is they break it into 3 sections: stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And the way it works is they have the 3 stages, and let's say you win the first stage, which is like maybe a third of the actual length. You win the stage. The way it works is the winner of that gets a point for the playoffs. But the problem is they call a caution, so they bunch up the field again. So they like create artificial cautions like twice a race, no matter what. There will never be like a caution-free race ever again in NASCAR. It brings the field together.
Wait, sorry, why is that? What's the like genesis of that? Like, did something happen? Like, why did they do that? Does anyone know?
I probably should know this because I'm a big NASCAR fan. I can't think off the top of my head.
I didn't mean to.
No, but I just remember like, well, if we really want to go off rails, I can tell you the worst concept of a racing I've ever heard in my life that NASCAR tried for one race in their lower series. And if you can,
what?
So I'm going to tell you this. If this happened in F1, tell me the uproar that would happen. NASCAR introduced this thing called a caution clock. And the way this worked is that the race was like 200 laps. After every 20 minutes, no matter what, they would throw a caution. Didn't matter what happened. They would throw a caution to get the field together. And just every 15 to 20 minutes, they'd just keep throwing cautions to bunch the field up to get closer to each other. For the entire race.
So is the point of that to just like keep the race competitive, but like not because you're?
Yes, the
I
goal.
I don't understand the purpose of that. Like, is it something for? Is like supposed to be like for the fans, but it actually isn't because it's annoying. Like,
yeah, I think the thought process is that they would bunch the field up because like the restarts are exciting because they're 2 by 2. They're like double file, so like the restarts are exciting, but like it's so fake and artificial that everybody hates it. That like nothing feels real whatsoever about it. Like imagine if F1 like every like 8 laps decided, you know what, we're gonna bring out safety car for 1 lap.
Yep, pause. Yep, everyone.
Here comes safety car.
Get together.
Like just imagine like
doing this for the next 60 laps.
Like imagine how much of a farce that would be. Like every 5 laps they bring the safety car out. Oh, sorry, you're in second place. You can pass him now. Like.
Yeah. So what's because it makes you like, what's the incentive of trying to build like superior machine if I don't know. It
only lasted one late. It lasted one race, and they realized it was the dumbest thing ever. And then they got rid of it. So.
Okay, all right. So this is not ongoing. Okay. Good.
No. This was one race like 7-8 years ago.
And I love how fucking heated you still are about this. And it was 8 years ago, and they only did it once.
Well, like I'm just trying to say,
You're
like,
so passionate about this.
I,
You're like, I'll never forget. It was 2013. They introduced these caution laps, and honestly, I've never recovered.
I think the thing is like I'm just passionate about like, if they came out for a Drive to Survive for NASCAR, like, it could be so like big and popular. But they just keep doing stuff to themselves. Like, I'm not going to go into it anymore. I could talk about this all day, like how they shoot themselves in the foot. But they just always find some way to not listen to the fans and just to piss them off a tiny bit more every time.
But you keep crawling back, man. Like, that's the problem, you know?
Well, here's the thing is the stuff like this stuff, like the thing with NASCAR is I root for a certain driver compared to F1. So, like, I can put up with it for my driver. Like, in F1, like, if something stupid like this happened in F1, like, I don't cheer for anybody. I don't have any real reason. I could just keep complaining about it. And if you ask any NASCAR fan, nobody's ever happy with how everybody hates it. But they're just at the point where they're in too deep, like me. So they just keep watching.
Yeah. Listening to you about every moment of every game, but Sunday at 12:55, like, I'm ready for it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just ingrained in you. Wait, so going back to F1 then, so you don't have a vested interest in like anyone truly, or you just
I shouldn't say that. There's drivers I definitely like more than others that I like act. My biggest one I would say is George Russell. Like, that's who I cheer for George Russell when he does well.
Well, you like the hunky drivers though. Like, you have the pattern here. You see,
but like I don't.
You like the cute drivers.
Okay, here's the thing. This will make more sense. I actually like the underdogs in racing.
Got it.
So like in the Williams, like, no chance to win in the Williams, but like I love it.
Yeah. So you were excited last week then?
Oh, I was in my car. I was literally driving up to school, and I put it on YouTube TV just to sit in my dash to listen to, and I just hear Russell purple for the first sector. I'm like, what's going on? Then it's like purple through second. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? Like, as I'm driving up to school, I'm like losing it in the car. Like, and people driving by me, they're like, what the hell's going on in this car?
Yeah.
So
that was a very exciting moment, and like, you couldn't help but feel really, really happy for him too. I think like he's I don't know. I could be. I'm sure there's people, and there's always going to be people that disagree, but he seems very likable. You know, like, he seems like pretty agreeable. But yeah, that was really fun. I mean, it sucks what happened on Sunday, but that was pretty exciting.
And it's
so George. So you've got George. Like, who else? Like, you've got to have a couple more.
So this might anger people in the Discord, but I've always had a soft spot for Lewis Hamilton.
Okay, all right. So let's clear the air about Lewis, because I talk a lot of shit about Lewis. I actually think, I actually really like. I think he does a lot of really great things. Yes, that's socially, why I like him so much. Right? I think that he uses his platform in like a super positive way, and you know, without trying to turn this political, but like, it's very like, you know, I think it's nice to see, you know, people who have, you know, celebrity and reach, try to use that as a way to, you know, educate or, you know, stand up for things that need to be stood up for. So I actually have a lot of respect for him in that way. And he also seems like a pretty solid guy. Like, he's always like doing things for, you know, local communities, and like just, you know, surprising kids with things. And, you know, he just like feels like he's like tries to, you know, make people's lives better. So it's hard to like talk shit about that. I think this will make sense. There's very few drivers I actually don't like on the grid. So that's probably one of the reasons as well. They're like, yeah, but there's none that are really like not like. I mean, like, I think that there's always. Yeah, I'm with you actually. You know, I can't really think of a single. I can think person like that I'm just like. I could say like. I don't like anything about them. I could say like Maze Pin as like an obvious like. He's my least favorite driver, but like I don't like. It's not like in like where like you have a burning hatred for them. Like I can like, and even with him, like there's always something I can find in one of the drivers that I can actively respect. Yeah.
And
isn't that so interesting though? Because I can't say that about any other sport that I follow.
yeah,
Like,
and
like
I'm
as
yes,
a football fan, like I have like the hottest takes about like players and teams that are like I will just say like the most ridiculous shit about these people that's like so far off
yeah,
just because I'm so die hard. But I think it's so interesting how like you talk about. I think that's also why people have such a hard time with the booing that's been happening as well, right? And I
yeah,
mean that there's like many layers to that for sure, but I think it's also like it's a sport where it seems like for years there was like a mutual respect, right? Between fans and fans of drivers, and like you're always going to have like your random idiots,
yeah,
but I think it's just interesting for me as an American who's typically only followed football and hockey and a little bit of basketball, like to have someone be like, whoa, like people are booing Lewis and people are booing Max and people are booing this person, and it's like that happens in like all sports, right?
yeah,
I just like it was always interesting to me to see people's like reactions who've been following the sport for like years and years and years. Like it sounds like it's a fairly new thing,
yeah.
which is like again like for someone who's like grew up watching football and stuff like that, that's like you boo everything. People boo Goodell, people boo the other team, you boo like the mascots, like you boo anything that will get in front of you.
Yeah. All right. So I have one more question for you before I get off. This will you love your hot take, so this will be not really a hot take, but a fun thing. I want to hear your this is on the spot, so but I want to hear your predictions for this weekend in F1. Top 5 or top 10, who you think's going to be where. Just so if it gets right, you can brag to everybody about how smart you were.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go Max 1. I mean, like, let's be real here. I'm gonna go Lewis 2. I know that's like not surprising.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Vettel back. I'd like to see Vettel back up there. I am still a little upset with the technicality that took care of him a couple weeks ago.
So you're saying are you saying he's gonna get a podium this weekend?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
There's the hot take.
I got a good feeling about Seb, man. I just think I think it's the karma, man. He's out there picking up trash, riding bikes around. He's for the people. That's going to be my hot take for sure. Is I think Seb, and I think also just Buffy pumping him up, into oblivion. I think that I'm like lost in the sauce right now. So yeah, I'd like to see him there as well, man. I would love to see. I'd love to see Pierre break out of the 6-7 spot. That would be really nice. I feel like he's like perpetually there. So that would be pretty exciting for me too. I like him a lot. I think like I like his I like the way he drives a lot, but I just kind of like his demeanor. I don't know. He just seems like someone who to me he's just like a very likable person.
I'm trying to think of a hot take this weekend I can throw out to match your hot take.
I don't really have. Yeah, I mean, like I don't know, man. Like I'd love to see. Tough, man. I'd love to see Lando, back up there again. I think that I think he's had a really great year. I think that when you kind of apply it to his card prices, like I think many people can make the argument that the prices don't reflect the results, but I think that I don't know. I really like him a lot, but
like how I'm just debating how hot of a take. Like I have a take right now that might be the hottest take ever said in the history of F1.
Is it Alonso? Who is it?
No. It's not a win. It's not for a win, but it's just. Okay, I think I'll say it, but I'm trying to think of how crazy I want it to sound.
You gotta shoot your shot, man. You're building it up. You gotta just.
I'm thinking because when I say it, you'll understand where I'm trying to be. I want to be somewhat realistic where I have at least a chance. I'm gonna say Mick Schumacher with a top 12 finish.
Okay, I don't think that's. I mean, that's a shot. It's definitely like that's a shot. But
I couldn't say points because that's ridiculous. But like, few retirements, it's there.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I think that I think it's been interesting this year, kind of like around that midfield too. Like, there's been like a decent amount of parity,
Oh, for
and
sure.
and I think that that's like been fun to see. Especially, it's been fun to kind of see, how that's been shaking out. There's been some like fairly unfamiliar faces kind of creeping in, and it's been cool to see like flashes too. I think Mick has shown some like really nice defensive work a couple weeks ago. I think like, um, I think that he's someone who it's just so tricky, right? Because it's like it's obviously so much of this contingent on getting these guys like in the right car, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like so speculative in that way, where it's like, okay, like these guys dominated F3 or F2 or whatever, but now the car that they're in is inferior, and it's like that's so interesting to me as someone who's watching, because it's like that's not necessarily the case in like most other sports, right? Like if you're an
Yeah.
elite athlete, like even if you're on a shit team, like you're still going to look elite. You know what I'm saying? Like you're still
Yeah.
going to be, even if you're on a team that's like a 500 team, but you're a beast and you're putting up 40 points a game or whatever, like you're still going to get that like notoriety as being elite, even if your team is not that good.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about F1 is it's so speculative in that way, where it's like, well, someone like Gasly, you're like, well, maybe it's great, he's getting 6 to 8 basically every race around there, and it's like, what could you do in a better car? But like maybe nothing, because he's been in a better car. I don't know. It's just like it's really interesting to kind of see like how people speculate on this sport, right? And like I think seeing, I think Russell, I don't know, man. I think in a Mercedes, or I know in a Mercedes, and a lot of people would agree, he's just going to be really, really fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is a perfect time for me to wrap it up. My computer's at 1%. I'm sitting in my car. Perfect spot for me to end. So I just want to say I appreciate you for coming on, talking with me. I had a blast. Hope we can do it again.
Likewise, man. Yeah. Thanks for taking the time, man. Big shout out to the Discord crew. Y'all know who you are, but yeah, man, I really appreciate you taking the time. It's been super fun.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for
Bills.
Go Bills. Thanks you guys for watching.
Go Bills out of you? There we go.
I just said go Bills. Thanks you guys for watching. I will be posting when I can because I'm in school. So I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll see you later.